UK sent 600 troops to evacuate Brits from Afghanistan as rampaging Taliban seize 11 cities and close in on Kabul. Hundreds of paras will swoop into Kabul to evacuate the British embassy and up to 4,000 British contractors and staff amid fears the city will fall to the Taliban's lightning advance. Only a skeleton staff, including Ambassador Sir Lowry Bristow, will stay in the besieged Afghan capital. They have been ordered to abandon the old embassy building, once a symbol of Britain's resolve in the most drastic action since a civil war engulfed Kabul 30 years ago. Officials fear that the old British compound will be stormed and looted by furious Afghans who feel abandoned by the Western withdrawal. A crack squad of 600 troops from 16 Air Assault Brigade are due to arrive within hours, Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said. The troops will secure Kabul airport as CV charter flights swoop in to rescue up to 4,000 so-called entitled personnel, including British passport holders, contractors, and staff who work for British organizations. But they have orders not to help their desperate Afghan comrades who are being slaughtered on a daily basis as the Taliban siege ground. Officials in the Pentagon have also scrambled 3,000 troops to evacuate US embassy personnel today. Wallace instead insisted that the airlift was the next phase of the planned drawdown of forces and personnel in Afghanistan. That phase will involve the deploying of British armed forces personnel into Afghanistan in order to enable the drawdown. The remnants of both embassies will relocate to the airport to facilitate a speedy getaway. Last night, Taliban militants overran Herat, the largest city in western Afghanistan, in a crushing blow to the government. They were also fighting in downtown Kandahar, Afghanistan city, after freeing prisoners from its jail. The jailers now hold a third of provincial capitals, including the city of Ghazni, just 90 miles from Kabul, and two-thirds of the countryside. The die-hard band of British diplomats authorized to stay will move to a secret location closer to the US embassy. Top diplomatic sources said Wallace had no choice but to pull the ripcord on the UK presence because America cut a rotten deal with the Taliban insurgents to have all troops out by September 11. Doing this September 11 means the troops should not be attacked, the sources said. That's the deal with Taliban. If we wait and do it later when Kabul on the cusp of falling, then it could be a much bigger mission if we have to fight past the Taliban hordes swarming at the city gates. It is the second time that the RAF have led a Kabul airlift. In 1928 and 1929, they led the world's first major air evacuation, rescuing almost 600 people, including British and European diplomats. A former Afghan veteran said the current mission was disgraceful. We are marching to the Taliban's tune. For 20 years we promised the Afghans we stood shoulder to shoulder with them, he said. Now we are coming in to rescue our own and leave them to their fate. What message does it that send to the rest of the world? What kind of ally does that make us? The situation is so bad that the US officials are considering plans to move their embassy into the airport, so they can all get out quickly if the Taliban roll in. A source said Britain would stick very close. In a sign of President Ghani's growing desperation, he offered to share power with murderous militants yesterday, but the Taliban spurned offer, insisting he must go. At least 3 lakh people have fled their homes since May, but officials fear the tide could hit 2 million if the Taliban siege Kabul. Most of the refugees are sheltering in the capital, where Vice President Amrul Sahih ordered every mosque in the capital to open its doors to those in need. Only a tiny fraction can afford the smugglers' fees to risk the deadly journey to Europe. It comes as Taliban capture a massive stash of US-made weapons and drones 80 miles outside of Kabul. Reports have also claimed that Taliban are going door to door to round up young girls to be sex slaves to fighters in the terror groups. Thank you.